Hey everyone, today I'll be doing a full comparison video of the Hemlock and Oak planner versus the Hobonichi Cousin planner. So on the left side we have the Hemlock and Oak planner. This is from 2022. I've used it this year for memory planning, and for 2023 I have the Hobonichi Cousin. So let's get started. Immediately you can tell the Hemlock and Oak planner is much thicker. So of course it's bulked up a little bit because I've been using it for memory keeping, which means a little more heavy-handed with stickers and so forth, washi tapes. The Hemlock and Oak planner also has a beautiful hardcover, so that immediately adds some bulk and weight to it, but it looks amazing when you're archiving it on a bookshelf, which I've done for the years past. And the Hobonichi Cousin is very thin. It uses the Tomoe River paper, which is known for a very thin paper, and the cover is also not hardcover. So you can get different covers for the Hobonichi Cousin. I'm currently putting it in a Tyvek cover from Take a Note, and it's a beautiful cover that has gold foiling in it, but it's very thin. And without this, it's really just cardstock as the cover. So that's something to keep in mind. People get all sorts of covers for their Hobonichi Cousin and their other Hobonichis. You can get anything from like a fabric cover, different types of materials. I mean, you can really go all out, but just want to let you know that is one of the key differences. Hemlock and Oak has a hardcover already built in. The Hobonichi Cousin, you have to get your own cover for. I wouldn't use this without a cover because the cardstock is a beige color, so it's going to get dirty, and also it can bend pretty easily. But that's something to keep in mind. So that's a way for Hobonichi users to customize every year. Hemlock and Oak comes out with different colors for their hardcovers every year. This is a beautiful linen I got, and it looked so classy throughout the year. It did get dirty, and I wasn't quite sure how to wash it, but it has this beautiful gold foiling on. I might try to get this off maybe later and see if I can before I archive it on my shelf. All right, so let's get started. Hemlock and Oak is a company based in Canada. Hobonichi is probably the most popular planner company in the world. They're based in Japan. And Hemlock and Oak is a weekly planner. So weekly planner means it has the monthly and it has weekly layouts. So let me flip through. I'm going to flip through something I haven't used yet, just so you can get something, almost a fresh start. Of course, I've already started decorating, so it's not completely blank, but you can tell it is very, very similar to the monthly layout for the Hobonichi Cousin. And just for a fair comparison, I'll do a blank month towards December as well. I guess December of 2023. All right, so this is the immediate difference. Hemlock and Oak is a little bit bigger than an A5. I do know they're coming out with an A5 minimal this year, which is new, and that is closer to the classic A5 size, but the Hobonichi Cousin is the standard A5 size. This is a little bigger, which means each of these grids are a little bit more spacious to write in. So I have a ruler right here so I can show you what each one would be. This is, say, 3.8 centimeters for the monthly box. And I would say the Hobonichi is about 3.4. So that's a little bit of a difference. And you can tell the side grid is also, a different spacing there. What I do like about the Hobonichi is it tells you what week you're on right there. So it says week 49. It is blank here. Something else to note, this is the English version of the Hobonichi Cousin. Starting this year for 2023, they released the English versions, which really help reach a more global audience for the Hobonichi company. And it was actually one of their most popular planners. So they share which planners are most popular from their website lineup, and the English version was very popular. Here you can tell they kept the Japanese days of the week as well as the English version. Here you have the full day of the week written out. The numbers are much bigger on this one, as well as the heading for that. This is very minimal. I've been using the monthlies to put down my gratitude. Not quite always gratitude, sometimes just like a quirky thing that happened that day or just something whimsical like what I noticed. It doesn't always have to be rah-rah happy, but that's something I keep in mind. It's like a monthly overview, a snapshot of what I thought of that day. So it's like one sentence, and I think I will try to continue it in the Hobonichi Cousin, but it is smaller, so I'll have to see how that works out. I'll use January as like an experimental month. All right, so here on the bar, you have these little boxes that you could use for task list. Let me try to bring it closer to the camera. You can use this for a task list, but I just use for decorating. Here, I guess you could put some task on the bottom as well, or maybe an affirmation. Versus the bottom of this, they've been putting self-care challenges on, so they already take up some space here. In addition, the entire part of this is gridded. The bottom of this is not gridded, so either one is fine with me. And something else to note, Sunday is in red. That's very classic for a lot of calendars made in Asia. So Sunday's in red versus the Sundays here is blank. So that's interesting to note. All right, so let's get started. You flip through, and this is what their weekly page looks like. Let me see if I didn't decorate. Okay. I'll go to this one so you're not distracted by all the stickers I've used. So December, and what's interesting about the Cousin is that they do all their monthlies and then they would get into the weeklies. So you have all 12 months, or I guess they give you a little bonus of the next January, but all the months are grouped together, then all the weeklies are grouped together. Oh, I guess they give you 3 bonus months. February, March. That's right. They give you 3 bonus months in addition to that 12-month calendar. But then it's all the weeklies bunched together. This is very common for the Hobonichi to bunch it together. Hobonichi, or I guess undated planners. So they bunched up all the weeklies. So you have 52 weeklies right after the other without any monthlies in between. Versus this follows more of the classic style of monthly, weekly, monthly, weekly. So, all right, let's compare the weekly layouts and see what we think. All right, so here you can tell the paper is very different. This is more of a cream color. This is a bright white. This is very thin. It makes kind of a different sound for the Tomoe River paper. This paper is amazing for fountain pens, watercolor, things that are a little more, you know, just if you really like kind of like blending or just using some things with more heavy inks, definitely the Tomoe River paper, you can't beat it because it doesn't have any bleed through or feathering. This paper is a classic bright white paper. It feels a little bit like an orchard and olive type of paper, which is thicker. You can tell the sound is different. This one is just very lightweight. If you've never used Hobonichi paper before, the closest I could describe it as is almost like Bible paper, but the qualities of the paper are different. You can do just so much more art on it, and fountain pens. Fountain pen users love this paper. So, some things to note. It looks very similar. So you have the days of the week up here, and then you have a little blank box, which, you know, they both have. I know this starts at 5 a.m. and it uses 24-hour time, which I love because that's what I use every day. Here we use just the normal, I guess 12-hour reset. So that's a difference. And this only goes up to 10 p.m. So if you work a night shift or you study late into the night, you know, things like that, I would probably recommend the Hobonichi because it goes 24 hours. So 5 a.m. all the way to 4 a.m. and then it resets the next day. So especially if you're doing things late at night that you want to track, or, you know, you work at night. So that's something good to keep in mind. So on the left side, we have an overview of the month, which is really nice. And then here we have an overview of the month. It doesn't tell you what week it is on the Hemlock and Oak. I do like that it tells you, just so you can keep track of where you are in the year, like you're making progress. They both highlight what week you are right here in the month. And then here it has goals, values, priorities. I haven't checked whether the 2023 version kept the exact same headings. I believe they may have changed values, but they do have some brief headings here as well as some task boxes. So that's good to keep in mind. Oh, actually here it does tell you. So on the bottom it says the week. All right, that's good to note. I guess I haven't really noticed that all year because it's so towards the bottom, but I love that Hemlock and Oak dates their pages. This is great if you keep an index, like, oh, this happened on this day, you can make an index for it. Yeah, so it has these really nice things on the bottom too. It's just so thoughtful, like they have page number and the week again. All right. So they're both Monday starts, which I love because you can have your weekends together, especially if you're going somewhere to the weekend or you're doing something that spans the weekend. You can just kind of write an arrow versus Sunday start, you kind of have to restart. But that's something to keep in mind. A lot of American planners actually use Sunday start. So that's something to get used to for this planner. So here you have a bunch of the days. This one does have holidays, so it has New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. For the English version, they've kept the Hobonichi completely holiday list, so there's no holidays because it's a very global company, which means it's not centric to any specific holiday of any country. I kind of like that because it keeps it more open-minded, and I also keep track of holidays personally on my phone, so that's kind of nice. And then I do want to bring attention to this. So after every month they have a review, which is really cool, and this is something kind of classic to American planners. So when I am from the US, so I've used a lot of goal planners, things that have a lot of reflections. And what I've noticed in Japanese planners is that they don't really have that. It's kind of, a blank slate for you to put your own prompts. But in a lot of the US based planners, they have prompts for you. And I personally love them because it helps get you thinking and it helps me structure certain ways to journal or think if you're not used to doing that independently. So here we have 3 positive things: what gave you energy, what drained you, write a thought, lesson, growth moment, and then a blank page for memories. So this is a great page to collage. And I think they did condense it. So let me flip back to November, because I know in the new one, they actually condensed it a bit. So they have what can you do, get closer to your goals, values you'll focus on, small ways for self-care, and a habit tracker built in. And then I think this page on here would be like the January version of, what's coming up. So that's kind of cool that they've, saved some space here. I never quite used this too much, but I could see how it was helpful for this year. So they've definitely been editing their layout. Hemlock and Oak, they're a fairly new company. They're launching 2023, which is their 3rd year of planners. I have their 2020 version or 2021 version as well as the 2022. So I've definitely seen how they've evolved from their Kickstarter to now they're very popular. They're a very popular company, and the way they package all of their planners is really beautiful, and they have something that makes you want to root for them. So I absolutely love their planners. So you might be asking, why am I moving to the Hobonichi Cousin if I love this planner so much? And I'm definitely going to miss using the Hemlock and Oak. The reason I'm moving to the Hobonichi planner is I love their paper. The Hobonichi Cousin has such beautiful paper. It makes you, the texture of it is really cool. It has really cool texture. I love how it feels. I love how it sounds. I recently got into fountain pens, so if you're a fountain pen user, you want to use fountain pen friendly paper, and this is one of the few planners that have really great fountain pen paper. I've used fountain pens on the Hemlock and Oak planner, and it doesn't give me the vivid effects of the inks, and sometimes it does feather, so that's why. But this paper is amazing with gel pens. Gel pens is great with it, as well as mild liners, ballpoint. It can handle a lot. The closest I would describe it is like that Archer and Olive notebook therapy type of paper. It's 120 GSM. This one is just, Tomoe River paper. They're known for just being a great planner. Also, in addition, you get daily pages. So as you can tell, I finished up those 52 weeks. Then you move on to your daily pages. So each day, 365 days, you get a whole blank A5 size page. And I just wanted to try to see if it would work for me. It's kind of blending journaling and planning versus I usually have a separate planner and separate journal. So we'll see. Something else to note is that they have these really quirky quotes in here for Hobonichi Cousin. The Hemlock and Oak do have quotes, but it's at the top of the monthly reflection pages, so it's not bothering your weekly sections. And of course, Hemlock and Oak does not have a daily planner built in, which makes sense because this paper is so thick. If you had a built-in paper, I mean, it would just be like this big, right? So they have a separate daily planner that looks really nice, really minimalist, so definitely take a look if you're interested in that. But it would be a separate book versus this one is all in one. And the reason they can do that is because the paper is so thin. It looks really nice. So the daily pages, it has 5 to-do list boxes carved in. It has the lunar, moon, and it has some very minimalist timeline. Nothing too specific. It doesn't break it down to half hour, which I wish it did. Like if they could just pull that timeline down, that would be nice. But I don't mind. And they have a solid line here. So a lot of people do their planning here, and then the solid line, they do their journaling here, which is really cool. All their daily pages has a monthly overview. And then that's really it. In the back, they have some quirky pages. If you've noticed, Hobonichi is kind of a quirky lifestyle brand too. You can do your favorite movies, top 100, how to better enjoy conversation, favorite things. Oh, something I love. My favorite things, and I just love this cloud shape. So cute. So this is kind of nice. And they label each one. So that's really the Hobonichi Cousin in a nutshell. It is a monthly calendar plus a weekly layout plus a daily layout, which is very rare to find. There's not many on the market that has all of those in there, and that's why they are probably one of the most popular planners. I don't know many that has a dated monthly, weekly, daily. Let me know if you do. I'm very curious. Hemlock and Oak, it is for people, if you don't like the Hobonichi paper, this is really, such a great option. Or if you don't need all those daily pages, this is also a really great option. The price point, I would say it's a little similar. The Hemlock and Oak is about 60 USD, maybe 65 this year. The Hobonichi is 60 USD. You can get it for cheaper directly from Japan, but then you have to pay shipping and all that. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm very happy with the Hemlock and Oak planner. I really love that it includes ribbons. It has a cover built in, but I wanted to try something different and something more fountain pen friendly. So we'll see how it goes. And yeah, overall, I think both of these are great options. Let me know what you think. And I also have another comparison video between Hobonichi Cousin and the Take a Note planner, so that could be kind of interesting as well. A lot of planners draw inspiration from Hobonichi. Hobonichi's been doing this for 20 years, right? They are the most popular planner in the world, so there's going to be a lot of different planners that are almost like offshoots of it, solving little problems that might not work for everyone, but for a subset of people it could be great for. So this one is, if you don't like Tomori River paper, you don't like that ghosting, that long dry time, this is it. And you don't use fountain pens, this is probably such a great one if you don't need those daily pages. So, all right. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.